some social sides of computing and also some of the legal, data protection aspects of that you may come into that may be useful as well for your projects. So, so for those two aspects, what I've got is there's some really nice videos, and we'll be playing through those and have it. And the data protection in particular is useful for the research ethics side, which what we'll do, you'll be pleased to know, I'll only be talking for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'll have a group exercise to work through, and then a case scenario to think about, and the data protection aspect will be important in that. Okay. So I'd like to, first of all, in terms of IT and society, I'd like to play, hopefully it will work. It worked when I tried it last night. A very nice video from the British Computer Society on IT and society. Okay, there's always plan B. Just 1 second. This doesn't work. Okay, just 1 second. It's quite okay.
We've got a vision, and it's big, as it should be. We're here to make IT good for society. It's what it says in our Royal Charter, and it's why we exist. And everything that we do has to drive that forward. So how do we turn that vision into reality? We bring people together, we bring communities together, and we help them play a leadership role to make IT good for society. As we've gone out and talked to our members about that new purpose and that refreshed vision, we've generated a new sense of excitement and expectation of what we're going to be doing together. Because our members are at the heart of this. Our members are the people who have the power across the UK and the world to effect real change, only if they work together, only if they work knowing that this shared purpose is what's driving all of us together. So we're setting out 4 challenges with goals where we think that society needs something from this community. So for education, we'll be giving every child the opportunity to study computing and an exposure to computational thinking. It will equip them for the digital society they'll be living in. On health and social care, we're going to be bringing people together to create an environment that's centred around individuals, not organisations, to address one of the biggest social problems that our country faces. We're going to be making sure that personal data works for people and for our society as well as organisations, so that everyone can benefit from it. On capability, we're going to be looking at what people need in order to really make IT work for every part of society. But we're just getting started. This is a journey that's just begun. It's a journey we need to go on together. We've shown with our IT impact events that we can bring together our members, experts, people from all walks of life to look at problems in new ways. We don't just want to inform people, we don't just want to inspire them, we want to send them back into their workplaces and their communities, doing things differently and thinking differently. With our BCS Voices initiative, we want to take those debates and go wherever members are. We want to give people the tools and the support to deliver those events, to have it around a kitchen table, in a pub, in a cafe, in the local canteen, not only with other IT professionals, but with people who are in the community with something to share. Because ultimately what we want to do is take those thoughts, take those ideas, and use them with the power of a chartered organisation to change the course of governments, to change how organisations work together, to change the profession, get all of it working better for society. So this is your chance to get involved, to lead the debate, to lead the communities, to set the agenda, and together to make IT good for society.
do you have any comments about that video?
Yes.
Please.
I was about to
Because it's I was asked to talk about IT in society, to bring that in as well. So,
in other words, I'm being made a present about the PCS.
no, it's not supposed to be just about BCS. It's supposed to be about IT and society. So in terms of, do you think it's important to inform society, to inform communities about IT and how it operates?
I think it's instilled most people from the age of 5 that it exists.
That it exists. But what about all the data that's collected about people? Do you think we need to inform people better about how the data is processed and how it's used?
I think we choose not to in this industry.
Does everybody agree? Do people?
We choose not to consider the more stuff that's in the carried out.
If organisations have personal data about us, do you think it's important that we know about it?
Yeah. Yes, but they're not going to tell us.
Okay, so that leads. Okay, so that was the main point about the video was to show that the way in which we interact with society is obviously important, and it's important to keep people informed. So we then go on to the next. It leads into the next part of the talk, which is so then the BCS has a code of conduct. Yes, I'm not trying to advertise British Society, but I'm just trying to make you aware that there is a code of conduct that's associated with the British Computer Society, and the British Computer Society is the relevant professional body that deals with information technology. So I'll put up a link to the BCS code of conduct in the slides, and you can obviously it's important to be aware of that. And in terms of the legal issues example, what I wanted to make you aware of was the data communications and data protection legislation. So again, I'm not sure that this will work. This doesn't work. So let's have a look. Overview. Okay. So this is a video from the Information Commissioner's Office, which deals
looking for someone.
This is Blackburn Medical Practice. I could let you have a copy of the report.
We're all computers. Take them off your hands if you like.
Can I help at all? I am IT consultant.
Have you deleted all the data files from the drive?
The password's Nightingale. That's strange. Your caller ID is showing this number withheld. Come on. Oh dear. She's not having a very good day, is she? I'm sorry. Well, medical practice, Sarah speaking. How can I help you?
120/80. Perfect. Glad that's all good. Worried, were you? I don't know which is more stressful. Filling out the job application or taking a medical.
Well, you passed with flying colours. All I have to do now is fill in the form and return to the school, which could be easier said than done.
Problem?
No, it's just this new computer system we've had installed. Takes some getting used to.
I know what you mean. I can't believe it's 10 years since I last taught at school. Mind you, Suffering a nervous breakdown can play hell with your career prospects.
Like you said, it was 10 years ago, which means it's no longer relevant to your application.
When sharing information with other organisations, only the information which is relevant to the purpose and context should be disclosed. In this case, to disclose information from 10 years ago about a condition which the individual no longer suffers from would be excessive and therefore breach Principle 3.
I'm still having problems with this new system. Could you fax Barry Jones's medical records over to Gladstone Primary School? The link on the top there.
Well, what's the use of investing in a new system if nobody's prepared to use it?
It's all in the old system, it just needs transferring over, that's all.
Uh-oh, don't like the look of this. Using memory sticks to store personal data is not advisable unless they are encrypted. And faxing sensitive personal data is a risky business, even if you have a stringent policy in place.
I've downloaded all of Mr. James's case notes onto here. There's a fax number on the application. Once you've transferred it all onto the new system, you can send a fax over to the school, straight from the menu.
Right. This really isn't a good idea.
Blackwell Medical Centre, Delisha speaking. How can I help you? Let me just see if there's any appointments available.
Don't do it, Delisha. Did you see what just happened? She sent them by fax without checking if the number was correct and that someone is at the other end to receive the information. And she has sent the whole of Barry's case notes to his prospective employer, not just the relevant information. They now have a complete medical history, including details which are no longer relevant, such as a nervous breakdown. As a result, poor Barry failed to secure the teaching post. Principle 3 breached. The information provided should not be excessive in relation to the purpose. There has also been a breach of Principle 7, as the practice didn't ensure disclosure was secure. What have we learned here? The use of fax to send sensitive personal data is a high-risk activity and should be prevented at all costs. Care should be taken, even when legitimately sharing information, that what is being provided is not excessive for the purpose. These little sticks of plastic can be very dangerous. They are easy to mislay or lose, and available for misuse if unencrypted. Always make mobile devices safe to use by encrypting them.
Yes, Mr. Franklin. Have a 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Tuesday. 9 o'clock. I'll book you in. Thank you.
Yeah, can I book an appointment for my travel injections, please? Just to take the booster.
Yeah, can I take your name, please?
Yeah, it's Emma Wilson.
I don't seem to have you on my system.
Oh, yeah, that's because I've just moved into the
Well, medical practice. Sarah speaking. How can I help you? Right, I see. In that case, I'll have to ask you to fill in the form.
It's a lady called Kamal, says she's your sister.
Excuse me. It's rather urgent. I'll have to take it. Thank you. Hi, Lottie. I was just checking to see if you're okay to pick up Fight from nursery. Okay, that's fine. I'll pick her up on my way home to 9. Thanks, Lottie. Bye.
Okay. Thought she said her name was Kamal.
Pet name, short for Lotus. The true meaning of the name Kamal.
Well, well, well. It just goes to show you can't trust anyone. Emma is using the fact that Delisha is distracted to gain unauthorised and unlawful access to personal information. Poor Delisha. It's hardly her fault. The practice needs to think about how it sets out its reception area, so that patients can't eyeball papers and screens which show personal information.
Hello. Yes, this is Blackwell Medical Practice. I'm just ringing to confirm the details of our business account with you. Yeah. The password's Nightingale.
Oh, believe it. Must be over 20 years worth of records here.
Just a little point worth elaborating on here. Principle 5 states that personal data processed for any purpose or purposes shall not be kept for longer than is necessary. Principle 7 also applies. Personal information should be kept securely. Protection should be ensured by appropriate technical and organisational measures.
Is that Dennis's old computer?
Yes. It's going out where it belongs.
Have you deleted all the data files from the drive?
Yeah, it's clean as a whistle, Ken.
Moot point. Deleting the data doesn't necessarily mean it can no longer be accessed.
Sorry. No problem.
Okay, so I think hopefully you've seen some of the aspects that we need to consider. So basically there are 8 principles. If you look, again, I'll put up the details, the link on the slides, but there are 8 principles. So, and they've covered some of the principles, but obviously it's really important that data is kept securely. Okay, so if you hopefully that video was okay. I thought it was quite a nice way of actually of highlighting some of the issues. And so, right. So in terms of going on to the ethics side, so at Kingston University, in common with other universities, any research involving human subjects is supposed to be subject to review by an ethics committee. And there is a guidance document which I referred to there, which is on the internet. So it's the ethics guidance and procedures for undertaking research involving human subjects. So that also includes if you do surveys or questionnaires. There's a document that a colleague of mine, Professor Chris Cant from the School of Pharmacy wrote. It was 10 years ago, but it's a very nice, very clearly written document. And hopefully we'll put that up also on the study space. But it nicely distills some of the aspects that we have to consider when we review ethics applications. In terms of the professional bodies, as we've seen, there's the different professional. Well, you've seen that BCS has British Computer Society has their code of conduct. Also, for those of us involved in medical computing, medical research, it's a very important document called the World Declaration of Helsinki, it's published by the World Medical Association. And then different professional bodies, depending on your particular subject field, have different have statements of good research practice. So, for instance, the MRC, the Medical Research Council, or the Royal Academy of Engineering. Okay, so what Chris did was he very nicely distilled some of the main aspects that we need to consider when we review the ethics aspects of a possible research study. So the first one is potential harm to participants. So we want to make sure that we minimise any possibility for harm to participants. The second aspect is one of informed consent. So informed consent means that we must tell the potential participants what's involved in the study. They must have the right to decline to take part in the study, or they can take, or if they do take part in the study, they have the right to withdraw from the study at any time. Third aspect is one of confidentiality. So again, that comes onto the data protection legislation we've seen on film. It's important that all data is kept securely. So very often nowadays we'll be looking, an ethics committee will be looking to make sure that data is kept securely, but not only is kept securely, it's also encrypted. And you saw the issue that arose in the video clip about making sure that USB memory sticks are encrypted, and also should also be and also the issue came up with the computer that was the old computer that was being thrown away. It's important to make sure that all that if a computer has been thrown away, that all data is on the computer. And the last aspect that Chris identified was one of the power dependency relationship. So what that means is that if somebody in a senior position is conducting an investigation, but somebody in a junior position doesn't feel that they need to take part in the investigation as a result of their relationship with the senior member staff. So it's the concept of free will. So people should take part in a study because they feel they want to, and not because they feel they want to take part in the study. Okay, so what I've got is a scenario. In terms of ethics committees, you would have a committee of typically 10 or 15 people. So what I want you to do is imagine you're in a committee and you have to review this application and see what you think. And we'll come together at the end. So if you get together in groups,